Listen to me, because I need you to hear this deep in your soul. You have spent too much of your life doubting yourself, too much of your life believing that you are not enough, not ready, not worthy, not capable. And the truth is, every time you doubt yourself, you rob yourself of the chance to become everything you were born to be. You keep asking if you're ready, you keep wondering if it's possible, and life keeps waiting for you to decide. Because the truth is, it was never about the opportunity, it was always about the belief. You cannot walk into your destiny carrying the weight of doubt on your back. You cannot rise to greatness when your own mind keeps pulling you down. You cannot win a battle you have already surrendered in your thoughts. It all begins here, in your mind, in that small, quiet voice that says, I can, even when everything around you says you can't. You have to stop second-guessing your own gift. Stop waiting for permission. Stop needing validation. Nobody else can define your worth. Nobody else can measure your potential. Nobody else has the right to tell you who you are meant to be. That's between you and the purpose that put you on this earth. You were born with something special, but life has a way of making you forget. People will make you feel small. Failure will make you feel foolish. Setbacks will make you question your ability. But if you keep letting those moments define you, you will never discover the power that's been inside you this whole time. The voice of doubt will always be there, but the voice of faith has to be louder. You can't keep standing on the sidelines of your own life. You can't keep saying, someday. You've been preparing long enough. You've been wishing long enough. You've been talking long enough. It's time to move. It's time to take that step scared. It's time to do it before you feel ready, because waiting for confidence before you start is like waiting to get stronger before you lift the weight. The confidence doesn't come first, the action does. You build confidence by doing the thing you fear. You build belief by surviving what tried to break you. You build faith by walking through the fire and realizing you didn't burn. Every time you take a step forward despite the fear, your strength grows. Every time you push through the doubt, your courage multiplies. That's how belief is built, not in comfort, not in certainty, but in the middle of chaos when you decide to move anyway. You've been through things that should have broken you, but here you are. You've survived days you thought you wouldn't make it through, but you did. You've cried, you've fallen, you've failed, and yet you're still breathing, still standing, still fighting. That alone is proof that you have more strength than you give yourself credit for. So why do you keep doubting yourself? Why do you keep acting like you're not built for this? You think your pain disqualifies you, but it's what prepared you. You think your mistakes define you, but they refined you. You think your delays mean denial, but they were divine direction. Everything you've been through wasn't there to break you. It was there to build belief in you. The same pain that made you question yourself was shaping your power the whole time. Stop focusing on what you lost. Start recognizing what you learned. Stop comparing your journey to others. Start honoring your own process. Your path doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Your timing doesn't have to match anybody else's. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on schedule for the story that belongs to you. Life is not a race. It's a test of faith. And every time you doubt yourself, you're failing that test before you even take it. You gotta understand that belief isn't just a word, it's a weapon. When you believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. When you believe, you tap into something divine, something bigger than your circumstances, something stronger than your fear. Belief doesn't remove the storm, but it gives you the courage to walk through it. You can't build a masterpiece with trembling hands. You can't chase destiny while running from doubt. You can't claim blessings you don't believe you deserve. You got to start looking at yourself the way greatness sees you. Stop waiting for the world to recognize you. Recognize yourself. Stop needing people to clap for you. clap for your progress. Stop waiting for somebody to believe in your dream. Believe in it yourself. The most powerful thing you can ever do is look at everything you've been through and still say, I'm not done. Because that's what real confidence looks like. It's not arrogance. It's assurance. It's not pretending you have it all figured out. It's knowing that you'll figure it out as you go. You got to stop treating your potential like it's optional. Stop watering down your gift to make others comfortable. Stop shrinking yourself just because your shine makes people squint. You don't need to apologize for being powerful. You don't need to apologize for dreaming big. You don't need to apologize for wanting more. If people are uncomfortable with your growth, that's their problem, not your limitation. Doubt will always whisper in your ear. It will tell you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not ready. But the moment you learn to talk back, the game changes. You got to tell that voice, you don't get to run my life anymore. You don't get to control my destiny. You don't get to make me play small. Every great dream starts with a crazy idea that most people laugh at. But here's the truth. It's only crazy until it works. It's only impossible until you do it. And the people who believed in themselves enough to take that first step, those are the ones who changed everything. You can't wait for the right moment. You create it. You can't wait for perfect conditions. You build through the imperfect ones. You can't wait until you feel ready. You become ready by moving. Life doesn't reward doubt. Life rewards faith, boldness, action, persistence. Life opens doors for those who have the courage to knock even when they're not sure what's on the other side. You got to stop doubting yourself because your doubt insults your potential. It's like looking at all the power you've been given and saying, I don't trust it. But your gift deserves better than that. Your purpose deserves better than that. Your future deserves better than that. You've got too much greatness inside you to keep questioning your worth. Every single day you wake up is proof that life's not done with you yet. That means you still have time to get it right, still have time to rise, still have time to become everything you were meant to be. Don't let fear of failure stop you, because failure isn't final unless you quit. Don't let people's opinions stop you, because their words don't define your worth. Don't let your past stop you, because your past was only preparation for what's next. You've got to start walking like you already have the victory. Start talking like your dreams are on the way. Start moving like the blessing's already yours, because that's how belief works. You act it before you see it, and then it shows up. You got to train your mind to expect good things, even when everything around you looks bad. You got to start speaking life over yourself, even when nobody else does. You got to become your own biggest fan, your own motivator, your own cheerleader. The world will try to break you down, but if your belief is strong enough, it can't touch your destiny. Every person you admire today started out just like you, unsure, scared, unqualified. The only difference is they decided to believe anyway. They decided that doubt would not have the last word. They decided that their dream was worth the risk. You can do the same. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the first step. You don't need to know how it's all going to work. You just need to trust that it will. Because life doesn't reward perfection. It rewards persistence. You keep showing up, keep believing, keep pushing, and one day you'll realize you've become the person you used to dream of being. So the next time you hear that voice in your head telling you you're not good enough, remind yourself who you are. You've been through storms that others couldn't survive. You've walked through darkness and still found your light. You've been doubted, rejected, overlooked, and yet you're still standing. That's strength. That's proof. That's power. You are not a mistake. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. Becoming takes faith. Becoming takes the kind of courage that only comes when you finally stop doubting yourself and start walking in your purpose. Because this right here might be the most important thing you ever hear about yourself. Every time you doubt who you are, you kill a piece of what you could become. Every time you tell yourself you can't do it, you build a wall between you and your destiny. Doubt is a thief. It's a dream killer. It's the silent voice that talks you out of your greatness before you even try. And too many people never see their full potential, not because they're not capable, but because they never believed long enough to see what could happen if they did. You've got to stop doubting yourself. You've got to stop telling yourself that you're not enough. You've got to stop living like your life is meant to stay small. You were not created to play safe. You were not created to be average. You were not created to blend in. You were created to stand out, to grow, to shine, to overcome, to win. But none of that will happen if you keep fighting yourself more than you fight for yourself. See, the world is already hard enough. Life is already tough. People are already going to criticize you. They're already going to doubt you. They're already going to tell you what you can't do. Don't join them. Don't become your own enemy. Don't feed your fear more than your faith. You can't move forward if your mind keeps pulling you backward. You can't start walking in your purpose while you're still questioning if you're worthy of it. You've got to get to a point where you silence that inner voice that says you can't and replace it with one that says, watch me. Every single person who made something out of nothing had moments of doubt, but they didn't stay there. They pushed through it. They learned to turn fear into fuel. They learned to turn pain into power. They learned to keep moving when everything in them said quit. You've got to have that in you. You've got to have the kind of faith that doesn't need a guarantee, the kind of faith that believes even when it doesn't make sense, the kind of faith that says, even if I fall, I'll rise again. You see, most people doubt themselves because of their past. Something happened. Somebody said something. Someone made you feel like you weren't enough, and you started believing that lie. Maybe you failed once. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you got rejected. Maybe you've been told you're not good enough so many times that now you say it to yourself. But that's not truth. That's conditioning. That's your past trying to control your future. You can't let your history define your destiny. You can't let what broke you stop you from building again. Everybody falls, everybody fails, but not everybody gets back up. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is belief. You've got to believe that your pain has purpose, that your story still has more to it, that your life still has pages waiting to be written. Don't close the book because one chapter hurt you. Don't settle in the struggle. You've got to rise up and say, I'm not done yet. I might be tired. I might be wounded. I might be scared, but I'm not finished. The reason why belief matters more than anything else is because it's the foundation of every success story. Before any dream comes true, it's believed. Before any mountain is climbed, it's imagined possible. You can't win if you don't first see yourself as a winner. You can't lead if you don't first think like a leader. Everything starts with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as broken, you'll act broken. If you see yourself as limited, you'll live limited. But if you start seeing yourself as capable, if you start speaking over yourself like you already have it, if you start walking like it's already yours, things begin to change. The energy around you shifts. The way people treat you changes. The way opportunities find you changes because confidence attracts what doubt repels. The world doesn't give opportunities to people who doubt themselves. It gives them to people who act like they belong there even before they do. That's belief. That's confidence. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Now I know some of you are sitting here thinking you've been believing for a long time and nothing's happening. You've been trying, you've been hoping, and it still feels like doors keep closing. Listen, belief isn't about instant results. It's about consistent faith. It's about showing up when nothing seems to be working. It's about trusting the process even when the progress isn't visible yet. You plant a seed, you water it, you wait. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust that the roots are forming even when you can't see them. That's how belief works. You've got to trust that your efforts, your pain, your lessons, your sacrifices, they're all building something underground. And when the time is right, that thing you've been waiting for will break through the surface and the world will see what you were working on all along. You can't let temporary silence make you question your permanent potential. You are growing even when no one is clapping. You are becoming even when no one notices. That's why you can't doubt yourself in the dark. You've got to know that what you carry inside of you is bigger than any obstacle outside of you. Sometimes life will test your belief just to see if you really mean it. You'll have moments where it feels like everything is going wrong at once. You'll have days where it feels like the dream is slipping through your fingers. But those moments aren't meant to destroy you. They're meant to develop you. Pressure creates diamonds. Fire refines gold. Struggle reveals strength. You can't find out how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. You can't discover your true self if you never go through something that shakes your false one. So when you feel like you're breaking, remind yourself that you're actually being built. Every storm, every delay, every disappointment, it's all part of shaping you into the version of yourself that's capable of handling what you've been praying for. Because here's the truth. You can't receive what you're not ready for. So maybe the reason it's taking so long isn't because you're not worthy of it, but because you're still being prepared for it. Keep believing while you're being built. Keep trusting while you're being tested. Stop comparing yourself to people who seem ahead of you. You don't know what they went through to get there. You don't know their private battles, their tears, their pain. Everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's process is unique. You can't measure your chapter 1 against someone else's chapter 20. Focus on your lane, stay in your purpose, and move with patience. Comparison is another form of doubt. It tells you that you're behind, that you're missing out, that you're not doing enough. But you are where you are for a reason. Maybe it's not happening yet because there's still something you need to learn in this season. Maybe this delay is your protection, not your punishment. You've got to learn how to trust divine timing. Stop rushing what's meant to unfold naturally. The blessing will come, but you've got to be ready to hold it when it does. So instead of doubting, start developing. Instead of questioning, start preparing. Because when preparation meets opportunity, success becomes inevitable. Let me tell you something about confidence. Confidence isn't pretending you have it all figured out. Confidence is showing up even when you don't. Confidence is walking into the room knowing you deserve to be there, even if no one claps for you. Confidence is doing what you can with what you have, where you are, and trusting that it's enough for today. You don't have to wait until you're perfect to start. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. Ready is a myth. Nobody ever feels ready. You just decide. You decide that today you're going to stop being afraid of what could go wrong and start believing in what could go right. You decide that today you're done letting fear write your story. You decide that from this day forward, doubt will no longer drive your decisions. When you decide that, your life changes. Because belief is a decision. You've got to choose faith over fear every single day. You've got to remind yourself that you were created with purpose, that you're here for a reason, that there's something inside you the world needs. And if you don't believe in you, who will? You can't expect people to believe in your dream more than you do. You can't expect the world to see your worth if you keep hiding it behind insecurity. You've got to stand tall in your truth. You've got to walk with your head high, even when you're still figuring it out. Because confidence isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It's knowing who you are and whose you are. It's knowing that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you've got the power to get up. And every time you do, you get stronger. Every time you rise after falling, you send a message to your doubt that says you're not in control here. You've got to learn how to talk back to your fear. You've got to learn how to speak life over yourself. You've got to learn to say, I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough. Even when you don't feel it, speak it. Because what you say to yourself becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes how you live. Start speaking power into your life. Start declaring victory before it shows up. Start living like you already have what you're asking for. That's belief in motion. And listen, believing in yourself doesn't mean you'll never have doubt again. It means you won't let it control you. You'll still hear that voice sometimes that says you're not ready. You'll still have moments where you question if it's all worth it. But the difference is now you don't stop there. You keep going anyway. You keep showing up anyway. You keep doing the work even when the results aren't there yet, because belief is built through repetition. Every time you act in faith, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you face fear and move forward anyway, you prove to yourself that you can. So stop waiting for the doubt to disappear before you start. Move in spite of it. Move through it. The only way out is through. You're going to look back one day and realize that everything you once thought was impossible became your reality because you decided to believe in yourself when it didn't make sense. You've stopped doubting yourself. You've survived too much to start questioning your strength now. You've made it through things that should have broken you. You've overcome battles that no one even knows about. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. You're wiser than you think. You've got everything it takes inside of you already. The only thing missing is your belief in it. So stand tall, hold your head up, and remind yourself that you were built for this. No one can take away what's meant for you. No one can stop what's already written for you. The only person who can delay it is you. When you doubt, when you hesitate, when you shrink yourself to fit places you've outgrown, stop doing that. Walk in your power. Speak your truth. Move with faith, because the world doesn't need another copy. The world needs you, the real you, the confident you, the believing you. And the moment you stop doubting and start believing, that's the moment everything begins to change forever. Because this right here is what separates the ones who live with purpose from the ones who live with panic. Faith is louder than fear. You got to believe before you see it. Most people wait for proof before they trust. They wait for signs before they move. They wait for doors to open before they start walking. But that's not how faith works. Faith says move first, believe first, trust first. Faith says step even when you can't see the staircase. Faith says the vision you got inside of you is more real than the circumstances around you. Fear tells you it's too hard, too risky, too late. Faith whispers, try anyway. Fear screams, what if it doesn't work? Faith answers, what if it does? Every dream that ever came true started with somebody who believed before there was evidence, who trusted the unseen, who held on when it didn't make sense, who walked through darkness knowing light was coming. That's faith, and that's the language of greatness. See, fear is natural, but it's not supposed to be your master. You can feel it, but don't follow it. You can hear it, but don't obey it. Fear is a liar that dresses like logic. It tells you to stay safe, to play small, to wait until the right time. But the right time will never come if you let fear call the shots. You got to drown it out with faith. You got to talk back to it. You got to say, I might not know how, but I know who. I might not see the way, but I know there is one. I might not have the resources yet, but I got the resource inside me. Faith doesn't need the full picture. It just needs one step, one yes, one decision to trust when everything in you wants to turn back. That's when heaven starts moving. That's when miracles happen. That's when strength shows up out of nowhere. There's a reason storms come before blessings. Faith isn't built in comfort, it's built in conflict. It grows when things don't go as planned. It matures when prayers take longer to answer. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour, they're not punishments, they're preparation. Life will test your belief to see if it's real or just words. Anybody can have faith when it's easy, but real faith stands firm when nothing makes sense. When the bills are due, when the doctor shakes his head, when the people you counted on walk away, when the plan falls apart, that's when faith gets loud. That's when you lift your head and say, I still believe. You've got to learn how to praise through pain, how to trust in confusion, how to hold on in silence. Because sometimes silence isn't absence, it's strategy. Sometimes God hides the blueprint so you'll build character before success. Fear loves to remind you of your past. It brings up everything you did wrong. Every time you failed, every moment you felt small. Faith reminds you who you can become. It points to your future. It shows you what's possible. It makes you look beyond what's broken and see what can be built. Faith doesn't ignore reality. It just refuses to be limited by it. Faith sees beyond facts. It knows that impossible is just a word until somebody proves it wrong. And you could be the one who proves it wrong. But you can't do that if you let fear sit in the driver's seat. Fear will always exaggerate what could go wrong and minimize what could go right. It'll magnify your weaknesses and hide your strengths. It'll make you question your calling, your timing, your worth. But you are not your fear. You are not your mistakes. You are the courage that gets up anyway. You are the faith that keeps going when others quit. Let me tell you something, every great life, every success story started with a moment of decision. A moment where someone said, I'm not listening to fear anymore. I'm moving in faith. Maybe it was a business idea. Maybe it was a move to another city. Maybe it was a dream that made no sense on paper, but they stepped anyway. They didn't have it all together. They didn't know every detail. They just knew that faith without action is just talk. You got to walk it out. You got to move even if your knee's shaking. You got to speak it even if your voice cracks. You got to trust that once you take the first step, the next one will appear. That's how faith works, step by step, not leap by leap. You don't get to see the whole path. You just get the next instruction, and that's enough. Because if you saw the whole thing, you'd get scared again. Faith protects you by showing you only what you can handle today. You got to train your mind to agree with faith, not fear. When fear says you can't, faith says, watch me. When fear says, what if you fail? Faith says, what if I fly? When fear says nobody believes in you, faith says, I only need one who does. You got to feed your faith daily the same way you feed your body. Read things that lift you. Listen to words that remind you who you are. Speak affirmations until your heart starts believing them. You can't expect faith to grow in an environment of negativity. Protect your energy. Stop hanging around people who always see the worst. You need voices around you that call out your greatness, not confirm your doubts. Because faith grows in community, but fear multiplies in isolation. Surround yourself with believers, people who carry light when your flame gets weak, people who push you to keep going when you're tempted to quit. Fear makes you focus on the mountain. Faith makes you focus on the mover of the mountain. Fear looks at the storm. Faith looks at the one who can calm it. Fear asks how long. Faith says as long as it takes. That's why faith sounds different. It's calm in chaos. It's strong in weakness. It's peaceful in pressure. When everyone else panics, faith stays steady. Because faith knows the outcome doesn't depend on circumstances. It depends on perspective. You can be in the same storm as someone else, but see it differently. They see destruction. You see direction. They see the end. You see a new beginning. That's what faith does. It changes your lens. It makes you look at what scared you yesterday and smile today. Because now you understand it wasn't sent to stop you, it was sent to shape you. Faith is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows when it's stretched. Every time you go through something and choose to trust anyway, your faith grows. Every time you face fear and still move forward, your confidence grows. Every time you cry but still keep believing, your strength grows. You are stronger than you think. You've already survived things that should have broken you. That's proof of faith already working in you. You've come too far to turn back now. You can't afford to let fear win again. You've got to stand firm. You've got to remind yourself that faith doesn't guarantee an easy life, but it guarantees a meaningful one. It doesn't promise that storms won't come, but it promises you won't drown in them. It doesn't mean you won't fall. It means when you do, grace will pick you up. There are going to be moments when your mind starts whispering, maybe it's not meant for me. That's fear. Don't entertain it. Fear speaks in doubt. Faith speaks in destiny. Fear questions your ability. Faith reminds you of your assignment. Fear wants you to freeze. Faith wants you to flow. Choose which voice you feed, because the one you feed wins. If you feed fear with worry, it grows. If you feed faith with trust, it multiplies. That's how powerful your focus is. You got to learn to redirect it. Every time fear comes knocking, answer with faith. Every time anxiety rises, breathe belief. Every time your heart trembles, say, I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still chosen. Because that's truth. You were not brought this far to fail now. Faith doesn't wait for the miracle. It becomes one. It turns ordinary people into extraordinary stories. It turns pain into purpose. It turns mess into message. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You just need perfect conviction. You got to decide today that fear is no longer your language. You got to decide that you will walk by faith, not by sight. Because sight is limited, but faith sees beyond the horizon. Sight shows you the facts. Faith reveals the truth. Sight says impossible. Faith says already done. And once you start living like that, life opens up. Doors you never imagined start to swing wide. People you thought would never help suddenly show up. Opportunities appear where fear told you there was nothing. Sometimes faith will make you look foolish. You'll be believing in things nobody else can see. You'll be talking about dreams people laugh at. You'll be chasing goals that don't make sense. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them watch. Because the same people who called you crazy will one day call you for advice. Faith always looks foolish before it looks fearless. You just got to be bold enough to stand alone until the vision speaks for itself. Keep building. Keep moving. Keep trusting. The evidence will come. The reward will come. But first, the belief must come. Believe before you see it. Believe when it's dark. Believe when it's quiet. Believe when it hurts. Because that belief is the seed that becomes everything you're praying for. Fear is temporary. Faith is eternal. Fear fades when faith rises. They can't live in the same house. One has to move out. So let fear pack its bags. Let doubt lose its address. Let faith take over your mind, your words, your walk. Speak faith. Think faith. Live faith. That's how you win. That's how you change your life. Because faith doesn't just change your future, it changes your now. It gives you peace in the middle of chaos. It gives you confidence when you're uncertain. It gives you courage when you're tired. That's why faith is louder than fear. Because when fear says stop, faith says go. When fear says hide, faith says shine. When fear says you can't, faith says I already did. Believe before you see it. Because when you believe long enough, you start to become what you believe. And that's the power that fear can never take away.